What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back in here with another live stream, man. It's just me today. We're going to cut it short today. Got some other stuff to do going on. Told you guys I'm going to holler at you and we're going to talk. Posted yesterday, we'll talk about the Heisman race, talk about the NBA moves, talk about NFL recap, and talk about that little bit of that, just a little bit of revenge that the Rams got on Tom Brady last night, which it's revenge, but he won the Super Bowl and they lost. So, you know, what up, everybody? It is what it is. Oh, so gonna start out with this Heisman race. Now, when it comes to the Heisman race, I'm going to have to be honest with you guys. I am biased when it comes to the Heisman race because, as you can see, I wear my allegiance on my chest. Mac Jones for Heisman, people. Now, don't get me wrong. Kyle Trask is the leader right now, hands down. Kyle Trask is leading right now. He's playing lights out right now. For a guy who wasn't starting a year and a half ago, dude, it's amazing. But let's not forget, just like Mac Jones, they're going to penalize him, I know, for the caliber of players he's playing with. But if you're going to penalize Mac Jones and hold it against him that he's playing with NFL talent, you have to hold that against Trask as well. Because Kyle Pitts, I've heard arguments for him being the best player in all of college football. He's that good. Kadarius Toney is really good. Kyle Trask isn't playing with a bunch of guys. He's playing with NFL talent. So the same with Justin Fields, the same with Trevor Lawrence. The only one I think you can't make that argument for is probably Mac Wilson. Not Mac Wilson, but Zach Wilson. Yes. That's the only one you can't make that argument for. But all those guys are playing with NFL talent. So may the best man win. But I feel like it should be Mac Jones. That's just me, though. Mac Jones, and I have to give Mac Jones his credit because I was a Mac Jones. I won't say hater. And I won't say detractor per se. Let's just say I wasn't a Mac Jones believer. I wasn't a readily Mac Jones believer. I really didn't believe in the kid like that because, I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida, and I watched him at Bowles, and Bowles runs the football. That's what they do. So Mac Jones, him airing it out, he didn't really air it out at Bowles. So him getting a scholarship to Alabama and going there, I was like, man, he's probably going to be a career backup, not going to really play. And then when he does play, it's going to be like a game manager type of thing. Boy, listen, was I wrong? Mac Jones has the prettiest deep ball in all of college sports. Nobody throws the deep ball better. Not Justin Fields, not Trevor Lawrence, not Kyle Trask, not Zach Wilson. None of them throw it better than my guy. Yeah, nobody throws it better. I was going to say somebody else, but he hasn't been playing, so I can't really say. But his deep ball is pretty good, but it's not better than Max, and that's, of course, Mr. Trey Lance. And if you guys have been watching me, you know how much I like Trey Lance. I do. It's a shame that he hasn't been able to play this season because I think Trey Lance, he's up there. Whatever the top quarterbacks you put up there, whether it's all the guys who are in the Heisman race right now, whether it's Trask, Fields, Lawrence, Jones, Wilson, you have to put Trey Lance so squarely in the mix because when the NFL draft comes, Trey Lance is probably the third quarterback off the board. Easy for sure. Definitely easy, man. But I'm going to share to a few groups right quick. Let me see. Let's see. NFL Junkies. Yeah, there we go. Real Deal. There we go. Post. And let's see. Duval City football. Man, until see live sports. There we go. And one more. I'll do. Let's talk under the tree. There we go. For sure. So now back to this Heisman race. Now, right now, Kyle Trask is leading, and I have zero problem with that. Even though he had a bit of a ho-hum performance against Vanderbilt, I mean, it is what it is. Justin Fields has taken a step back, just a little step back, because he didn't play well against Indiana. That's their best competition they've had all year, and he was okay. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great. Also, not playing, I think, it shouldn't hurt Trevor Lawrence, because come on, people, Trevor Lawrence didn't get to play against Florida State. What do you think he would have done to Florida State? Now, Florida State is terrible. There's no question what he would have done to Florida State. So him not playing against Florida State does not penalize him in my mind, because they would have won by 4 touchdowns if they would have played Florida State. So it is what it is. I can't penalize Trevor Lawrence because he couldn't play against Florida State. And all the bickering they got going back and forth, whatever, doesn't matter. They would have destroyed Florida State anyway. And even if the game would have been close, Trevor Lawrence would have probably put up 5 touchdowns. It is what it is. So let's just get that out the way right there. Now, the only one I don't really have, I will say have much on is Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is somebody, I mean, he plays for Brigham Young University. You don't really get those games down here in Jacksonville like that, so I don't get to see him play. I've seen his highlights, but I like to watch people play in live games to really get a good accurate assessment of, you know, their talent and how they are and if they jump off the screen, because a highlight reel is a highlight reel. They're going to show you all the best plays anyway. But I haven't really got to see him, so I can't really speak much on him in his Heisman hopes because I just haven't seen him play. I can only go by what I've heard and what I've seen and what people have talked about. And they say Zach Wilson is the real deal, and he's going to be an NFL quarterback. So that's pretty much all I can go off of. So with that being said, let's move into these NBA moves, and we'll save the best for last, which is NFL football. But, man, talking about these NBA moves, for my people who are Jordan fans and Kobe stans and whatever with it, you might want to turn it off now. Go ahead and don't even watch this. When you watch the replay on YouTube, go ahead and cut it off, because I'm going to talk about the real GOAT, which is LeBron James. And from these moves this offseason, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, Marc Gasol, off that alone, and then you re-signed KCP. You re-sign Morris, the Morris twin. So off that alone, the Lakers are repeating. We're talking about a 5th title for the GOAT. He's going to get his 5th ring, because the only team that I see even competing with them at this point, well, let's take the West. Right now, it's still the Clippers, really. I mean, until the Clippers, because the Clippers did add Serge Ibaka. So I will say that the Clippers for sure. Now, if they had got Serge Ibaka and Rondo, which I'm very surprised Rondo decided to go play in Atlanta and be, share point guard duties with Trae Young. I'm very surprised about that. But word on the street is that he didn't really want to play alongside Kawhi Leonard like that. Don't know, just what I heard. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. So, hey, it is what it is. But the Clippers they're going to be strong again next year. Tough break for the Warriors, even though they added Kelly Oubre. Klay Thompson and that Achilles is a rough injury for NBA players. It seems like NFL players can overcome Achilles injuries a lot better than NBA players. But for NBA players and Achilles, especially at an advanced age, it's rough. I told you, only one NBA player in NBA history has come back and gone to an all-star game after tearing his Achilles, and that of course is Dominique Wilkins. Nobody else has done it except for him. And so it begs the question about Kevin Durant and how he's going to look coming back from this Achilles. Now, I believe he's probably going to be the next one to do what Dominique Wilkins did. Because from what I've seen so far, his workouts and things, he looks good. But, we shall see how that pans out. But as far as for the Lakers and their competition, the Clippers, the West is stacked, especially now with Phoenix has gotten better. So Dallas is going to be better. Clippers should be better. It's still going to be stacked, but I don't see any of them beating the Lakers in a 7-game series. Now, going out to the East, I don't think Milwaukee has enough. The Miami Heat definitely doesn't have enough. Shout out to Bam for getting his money. He deserves it. Who else? Who else? Brooklyn. I don't think Brooklyn can compete. Even if Brooklyn goes and gets James Harden, I don't see them competing with the Lakers or top teams in the East. I don't, because having James Harden and Kyrie Irving, shout out to Uncle Drew, having them on the same team, man, it's redundant. It is. Kevin Durant is not going to stand in the corner and watch those two dribble the ball back and forth for 23 and a half seconds on the shot clock. It's not happening. And plus, word on the street is, once again, these are rumors. These are things that are not actual and factual. But Kyrie Irving does not want to play alongside James Harden. He's not feeling it. And if James Harden is brought to Brooklyn, he's looking to make a move out of Brooklyn. He's that adamant about not playing with James Harden. But that's all speculation. So don't know for sure. Don't know if that's real or not. But that's the word on the street. Usually when I hear stuff like that, like I say, well, there's smoke, there's fire. Somebody might know something. Somebody might have put a bug out about Kyrie not wanting to play with James Harden. It is what it is. But all of this is a foregone conclusion anyway, because the Lakers are winning another chip. It's happening. I mean, what's hilarious is now with Montrezl Harrell, who, by the way, Patrick Beverley had a hilarious reaction to him signing with the Lakers, because I guess him and Trez wasn't talking, and Trez didn't inform him on what he was going to do, because when Pat Bev saw it on the internet, he had a problem. He seemed like he had a problem with it. He says he's happy for him, but I'm pretty sure he has the issue with it. And Montrez and Paul George didn't get along at all from what I'm hearing. They say because Paul George, playoff P or pandemic P, is not accountable for he's not accountable for his actions and stuff he does on the court. It's not accountable. So I can understand how that would be an issue and how that would be a problem with him not being accountable. He's supposed to be a superstar. He's supposed to be a leader. But they say the Clippers were a bunch of guys who were everybody felt like they were a star and on the level of Kawhi Leonard. And that's just not the case. So it's no wonder that their chemistry was what it was in the bubble. But hey, it is what it is. So the Charlotte Hornets got better too. Yeah, because Gordon Hayward, say what you want, I think he's healthy now. He's a 20-point guy. So he makes the Charlotte Hornets better. And I think LaMelo Ball, I called it from the beginning when LaMelo was when he was younger a few years ago, that he would be the best ball brother, because I felt like he had the best game. Now all he has to do is work on that shot, but already physically he's bigger than Lonzo. He has more muscle. He has more bricks in his pocket. And I think he's going to be a better player faster and probably end up being the best ball brother for sure. I mean, and watching Skip Bayless, he was like, he doesn't feel like the boys have that fire because of them being privileged or whatever. Who cares? But anybody who watches Melo, seeing his interviews and just seeing what it is, it's a quiet confidence, man. It's a quiet confidence. There's some fire down in there. He has more of his dad in him than the other two. But, that's just my opinion. So we're going to see how all this shake out. I'm excited to see these rookies coming in. And James Wiseman going to Golden State, I thought was big, man. If Clay didn't get hurt with James Wiseman, I would say that they would have been the top contenders with the Lakers. So you think he can change the shot? I don't know, man. It's going to be hard for him to change that shot. It can be done because if Markelle Fultz can get over what he was going through in Philly and have a decent shot now, I think that LaMelo can do it because even Lonzo came in. Lonzo's shot was so weird. He kind of had that, where he's like this, and then Melo kind of has it's almost like this, like he's playing volleyball. But he only shot 25% when he was overseas from the 3-point line, and it gets much tougher in the NBA. So early on, of course, he's going to depend on his athleticism and depend on him getting to the basket while he work on that shot. A shot can always be worked on, man. You had I take Rondo, for example, too. Rondo had one of the worst shots, man. And now Rondo can shoot threes now at a decent clip. He was shooting 40% in the playoffs. So if he can do it, I think he can, but he's going to have to put in the work. Just like Kobe, just like LeBron James, just like Jordan, just like any great you can think of that didn't have a shot coming in that developed it. It took hard work, and that's what he's going to have to do. So it can be done. I think he can do it, though. That is for certain. So now we're going to move on. We're going to talk some NFL football. I had my notes up here. Okay. So, but we starting with the Rams and the Buccaneers. If you don't have Jalen Ramsey in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, I don't know what you're waiting on. You need to go ahead and put him in there. Ramsey was out there WWE and dudes last night. And Mike Evans, I think he had 9 targets, 5 catches. I think only 2 or 3 of those were on Jalen. So Jalen has had a big matchup seemingly every single week, and he's produced for his team. Now, one of the Rams fans in their groups, Lorenzo, don't be hating now. Just don't be hating on Jalen now. Rams fans in that group said we have confidence week in and week out when we go up against top receivers because of Jalen. Isn't that something? Because just a few years ago, probably a year and a half ago, I had the same confidence when we went up against a team who had a top receiver that Jalen would get the job done. And usually he did. Jalen's worst game, and he talked about it in a recent interview with Ryan Clark, his worst game was that Indianapolis game when he had a bunch of mental lapses, and that was probably his worst game. And then that trade rumors were swirling. Then next week they played the Steelers. And when they went up against the Steelers, he had 2 picks in that game and was an absolute beast. Okay, I thought you were laughing. Okay, yeah, Ramsey is a beast, man. Ramsey's a beast. But you have to have him Defensive Player of the Year, man. Defensive Player of the Year. If he's not the Defensive Player of the Year, he has to be in the conversation because he's that good. Now, let's go on the other side of this. Tom Brady. And it's very interesting because I watched a bunch of Tampa games this year. And one thing I can't say about Tom is that the one thing about age, and when it comes to especially great athletes, guys that are all-time greats and that are really good, or probably just an athlete in general. The problem is when you get older, it's not that you can't perform at a high level. It's just that you can't perform at a high level as often as you could in your youth. Tom Brady can perform at a high level. You've seen it. You've seen it in a couple of games. But to muster up that kind of effort week in and week out, it gets harder and harder and harder the older he gets. So some weeks, Tom is going to look like he looked last night. He's going to look the way he looked against the Saints. I mean, it is what it is. Father Time is undefeated, and it's creeping up. It's breathing down Brady's neck because it's amazing how he'll look great, and then all of a sudden he just looks inept. Man, he looks slow. He looks tired, stuck in mud. And then his O-line was not helping him last night. Aaron Donald, I don't think he had a sack last night, but I'm pretty sure Brady sees 99 in his sleep right now because the way you beat Brady and the recipe, how you've always beaten Brady, is pressure up the middle. That's always beating him. And what did Aaron Donald do last night? He got pressure up the middle constantly and consistently. Hey, it is what it is, man. So Tom Brady, man, I wonder what kind of confidence the coaching staff has in him, especially when playoff time comes. I wonder, because you could right now, you could say, oh, he'll be fine. They'll be fine. He'll be great. But if he has a game like that, which wasn't terrible, but if he has a game like that in the playoffs, they're going home. They're going home. Brady plays like that in the playoffs, they are going home. Please believe that. Even though Buccaneers have a top 3 defense, which I did not know. I was very shocked about that. I thought they were like right outside of the top 10, but they've improved because they were awful last year. See, somebody help the Jags. Renzo, listen, man, what you trying to do to me? You really want me to start drinking and go into despair right now? You really want me to have a breakdown on this live right now? Because, dude, Jacksonville, oh my God. That's why I don't even talk about them like that no more, man. I don't. I can't, man. I can't. Fire everybody. Please fire everybody. Matter of fact, if Shad Khan, if he has pets, fire your pets, Shad. Fire everybody. Tony Khan, your son, fire him too. He ain't your son no more. Go get another son. Fire everybody. That big yacht you got out there, that be in the St. John's, fire your yacht too. Fire your wife, fire your cooks, fire the maids, fire everybody. Fire the cleaning crew. Bring in all new people, man. Please. Fire everybody. So we don't have to discuss Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville because now you understand. Anyway, for Renzo ruined my day. I'll never forgive you for that, man. And it's not funny. It's not funny, man. It's not funny. I'm in an abusive relationship with the Jaguars. I am. I really am. Talk about another game that was a little surprising to me. Titans versus the Ravens. All of a sudden, that Ravens bandwagon looking a little light now. I wish Kurson and Nesco and all y'all Ravens fans, I wish you was here. We need to discuss this. The defense looks soft. Man, that defense for the Ravens look soft. They got bullied again. That's 2 weeks in a row that they have been bullied. And the Titans, what the Titans didn't come out and just start throwing punches. They wore them down. What they did was they took him out to the deep water and they let him drown. Derrick Henry pounded him. The AJ Brown? I got him in fantasy. Boy, it's great. Pounded him, man, and just took him to task and beat him in OT. Like the Ravens defense were done in overtime. They were done. They had nothing left. They were out of gas. They were the Falcons defense in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter. They had nothing left. They were out of gas, son. Man. But anyway, hey, it is what it is, man. And this is one thing I want to know. Week in and week out, how is Mark Andrews still getting open? I want to know this. Defensive coordinators around the league who play against the Ravens. How is Mark Andrews getting so open? And he's doing it often. And I say that because he's the only guy. Everybody else is really just a guy. He's the only guy. I would take him away. Mark Andrews would not beat me because that's all they have as far as elite level pass catching talent right now. Because make no mistake about it, Mark Andrews is great. He's really, really good. But outside of him, dude, you got a 47-year-old Dez Bryant. You got a Hollywood Brown who still has to mature. You got Willie Snead, who my dude Kurtzon say just started catching passes 2 weeks ago. I don't even remember seeing a highlight of Boykin. None of them, man. So I'm not understanding. How was Mark Andrews still beating you people? I don't know. But moving on, Patriots and Texans. This one hurt my heart because I'm rooting for Cam, and they let Deshaun Watson go God mode on them. Dude, I was watching the highlights, and I'm like, yo, this is, which I'm not shocked because I told y'all, Deshaun Watson is great. I told y'all this. But, dude, he went for like, 400 total yards almost, and two passing, one rushing touchdown. Killed him. Absolutely killed him. And Cam and the offense played well. They didn't play bad. It's just defensively, man, they could not stop Deshaun Watson, man. They just, it was sickening, man. It was sickening. Oh, speaking of which, sickening. I know Falcons fans are sick right now because it's hilarious. Because they said they let a wide receiver, let the Falcons let a wide receiver beat them in Taysom Hill, which is hilarious. And I heard somebody call Taysom Hill the white Willie Beeman, and it kind of does fit because that's who he does look like when he plays. I watched him Sunday, and he does look like Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday. He does. He really, really does. But that was the Falcons. So when they get some real competition, they're gonna. He's probably gonna get exposed. I'm just saying he's probably gonna get exposed. I felt like Jameis should have been the guy to start, and people in the building felt the same way. It's amazing how stuff gets leaked to the media, like that. It lets you know that when you hear certain stuff, you hear rumors that people inside the building leaked it. It's not nothing nobody else found out. No, somebody inside the building told a reporter something, and they leaked it, and they want to stay anonymous because how would anybody know that it was people inside the organization that did not agree with them starting Taysom Hill, and they felt like Jameis should have started? Somebody snitching, dog. And that's in every organization. But moving on, one thing I saw that I did not like Sunday was the Dolphins benching Tua. Now, I can't question Brian Flores at all. Can't question Brian Flores at all because everything he's done to this point has worked. Everything he's done has worked. We questioned the move with him, benching Fitzpatrick and starting Tua. That worked out. We questioned the moves with him trading away Laramie Tunsil, Minka Fitzpatrick, and basically offloading a bunch of guys. And they look like a playoff team. So everything he's done to this point has worked. So I will say, I don't agree with him benching Tua, but and I would have let Tua die on the shield. But Fitzpatrick showed you, yeah, he can still play. But then he threw an interception at the end that shows you Fitzpatrick and Fitzmagic can also be Fitztragic, as who's that? Rex Ryan said Monday or Sunday. Yo, what it is? I see you. So moving on, Packers and the Colts. Packers should be ashamed of themselves. I talk about this all the time. I've mentioned it many times. The Packers have wasted one of the greatest talents at quarterback in the history of football. They've wasted him. Absolutely wasted him. Yeah. You 10-0. You beat the Jaguars. Whoop-de-doo. And it's funny. That game shouldn't have been as close as it was. If he didn't throw those 4 picks, game might have been a lot closer. But hey, it is what it is. I told you I'll put y'all up against anybody, though. I will say that. Watching Pittsburgh up close, I said the way to get to Ben Roethlisberger is you got to blitz him, but you got to get home because he doesn't get put on the ground often. That old line is devastating. But if you can get to him, oh yeah, 11-0 next week. Probably the Ravens right now are reeling right now. They are really reeling right now. So you might be 11-0 next week. I can't argue with that at all, man. They're reeling. They do not look good. They look disheveled. One question. Oh yeah, go ahead. What's up, man? While I'm talking about these Packers and Colts. So the Packers, will not. I don't see the Packers winning in the playoffs because Aaron Rodgers is going to score 35, but the defense is going to give up 36 points. Who's going to stop Claypool? Man, Claypool is a beast, man. Claypool is an absolute beast, man. It's going to be hard. And you can't double him. That's the problem. You can't double him because if you double him, you've seen what Deontay Johnson is going to do to you. He had 12 catches for Hondo. Still, you got James Washington, who plays well. And then what's lost in all this shuffle is Juju. Juju's only 24. And they roll coverage more to Juju than any of the other wide receivers because teams, of course, they don't want to let Juju beat them. But while you're not letting Juju beat you, Claypool's going to beat you. Johnson is going to beat you. Washington is going to beat you. Eric Ebron is going to beat you. So, man, it's going to be tough. Chiefs, Steelers is the game I want to see. That's what I want, man. Chiefs, Steelers. Yeah, he's just a rookie and he's making history. I mean, he up there with the names like Lance Allworth when it comes to touchdowns in the first 10 games. 10 touchdowns. Unheard of, man. Unheard of. But back to these Packers and the Colts. Colts defense is good. Colts defense is good. They played Aaron Rodgers fairly well. But now pairing them with a Phillip Rivers who can get it done because when they went on their getting beat by us, the Jaguars, and then they went on a bit of a win streak, didn't play really good teams. But now they've been through the ring. They play some really good teams, and they've beaten some. So I think next game is Titans-Colts. That is going to be a good game. I can't wait to see that, man. The Colts are legit, man. The Colts are for real. Oh, yeah, and speaking of the Chiefs, that man Patrick Mahomes. Dude, if you haven't seen it, go on my Facebook page. I posted a picture of Travis Kelce catching the touchdown pass. And I will kid you not, there is nobody within 15 yards of him. Nobody. Not a single soul. There are barely Raiders in the frame of the picture when he catches this touchdown. Don't know what coverage they were playing. Joel Mormon, one of my Facebook friends, he's a Chiefs fan, and he said they were playing cover zero. They weren't covering nobody. And we ain't talking about the original cover zero. They've covered nobody. They say Tyreek Hill was open on that play. And I said, I think that was Sunday. And I said Chick-fil-A was probably open on that play. That's how open he was. It was ridiculous, man. It was ridiculous. But, man, I can't wait for the slated games coming up for Thanksgiving, especially the Steelers-Ravens Thursday night is going to be good. I can't wait to see that for certain. Man, you better get ready because even though the Ravens look the way they look right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Steelers. I wouldn't. It's a familiar opponent. So, we should have beat them the first time. If we really want to keep it a buck, should have beat them the first time. But, hey, it is what it is, man. But, man, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. This has been, this football season has been, it's been strange because of, of course, the pandemic and things that's going on. Injuries have been killer. So many guys with torn ACLs. Injuries have ruined my fantasy football team. I'm like 3-7 or 3-8 or something crazy like that. It's just injuries have killed me, man. But man, the home stretch and what's coming up, especially for these playoffs. Now you got the extended playoffs. I will be honest though. I don't really like the expanded playoffs because I think you water down the product a little bit. But it is what it is. It's already bad enough that a team in the NFC East is going to host a playoff game this year because the NFC East is awful. It's absolutely awful. Terrible. 3-3-7s and a 3-6-1. So somebody might win the division at 6-10. That's a legit possibility right now, man. Somebody might win it at 6-10. That's a legit possibility. And that's sickening to think about. But hey, it is what it is, man. But man, I appreciate y'all. I'm going to wrap this thing up because I got to get out of here. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We got some more interviews coming. If you haven't seen it, go check out my interview with professional boxer Kent Cruz. Talked about his career, talked about his upbringing, talked about the situation with the pandemic and the bug and how it's changed sports, how it's changed his preparation. Hey, dude, he's 16 wins, no losses, 1 draw with 10 knockouts. He's on the come up, man. Hey, might be our next champ. He's a good guy, easy to root for. So go check that interview out. I appreciate you guys. But man, I'll talk to you guys later.